What was your inspiration for what you're doing now? Yeah, what made you want to create a Christian anime?
I've always loved anime. When we moved to Louisiana, my cousins, all my family's from Louisiana, and so one day I walk in and they were playing on the PS2 Budokai 3. If you know, you know.
Yeah.
And they had the Goku and Vegeta posters up, and so I would just stare at them. I'll be like, dude, like these characters look so cool, because I've never seen characters like them. Like in terms of me, my anime at the time was Ben 10, and so that was my very first introduction into it. And then from Dragon Ball came Naruto, and I just overall love like the difference in terms of like actual stories. And every time I would do a Bible study, uh, people would always ask me about Revelation because that was my main field of study. And the end times. Next thing you know, somebody's like, dude, like you love anime? It'd be cool if there's like a Bible anime. And I was like, well, there's a Bible anime, there's
Yeah.
there's stuff like that. But they were like,
Uh-huh.
no, like about Revelation, because Revelations is such a touchy topic that nobody wants to cover because there's so much like controversy around it. Like, and I was like,
Mhm.
God, like if you want me to do this, then I need you to like provide, and I need you to like give me an answer. And so that same night, I had a dream, and in the dream, I was standing in a field of grass, and behind that field of grass was a forest. On the right side was a lamb, on the left side was a goat.
Mm.
And so I took a step towards the lamb, and the goat just took off and fled. And
Mm.
I got to the lamb. The lamb looked at me, looked down, looked up again, and then turned around, and then started walking to the forest. And so I'm following the lamb. I'm walking, and as we're going deeper into the forest, the trees start to get more surrounded, more secluded. So we get into like this opening. It's like a circular opening. The lamb stops, turns around, looks up, looks down, looks up again, and he says, hey, how's it going? And I was like, what is going on right now? I thought I was tripping. And so I just sat there, and the lamb said, you need to keep going with the Light of the World project, because that was the name of, Studio Blessed and Ascension. After that was like the working name, Light of the World project. He said, you need to keep going with the Light of the World project because it's going to help a lot of people see me. And when he said that, the lamb's eyes became like humans, and it started crying, and then I started crying, and then I hugged the lamb. And as we were hugging, there was like this black snake that tried to slither between the lamb and I, and the lamb's hoof just picked up and gently crushed the head of the serpent. And then I
Mm.
looked back behind the lamb. There was two pillars, one on the right, one on the left, and one was like a stone pillar that was a lion, and the other one was a stone pillar that was a lamb. And then I woke up. And then ever since then, I made a concept art about like John encountering an angel. And then from there on, it just spun into creating the characters and then developing the story. Like, okay, so how do we want this to be, different? How do we want this to be an actual anime?